Thank you, everybody, for joining me today. My name is Tom Devine. I'm with AVPro Edge and Bullet Train. Today, we're going to be talking about a new matrix switcher from AVPro Edge. AVPro Edge is a company that manufactures audio-video distribution equipment. That questions tab that you guys know how to use so well, it looks like, continue to use if you need to, if you have any questions or feedback for me during the training. If you guys have a question, that means someone else probably has that same question. A lot of people will be viewing this on YouTube. And if you're watching this on YouTube, this was originally recorded live on GoToWebinar software. That's why the resolution probably isn't the, the best of what AVPro Edge would want it to be. But thank you so much for tuning in. This is going to be a really cool product. So if you have on YouTube, if you have any questions, you just put them in the comments section. Our marketing team reviews that consistently, and we'll make sure that we get any questions that you have answered. And if you're watching live, I'll answer it right here so that everybody can hear the answer. So anyway, guys, now let's get into this actual product. This is the product that I'm going to be talking about. If you guys are familiar with our matrix switchers, this doesn't look very different, right? It is an 8 input, 8 output matrix switcher. It's really in the engineering and the features that's going to set this apart. This switch includes mission critical scaling. It's a technology that our engineers have developed for those mission critical times that you cannot have a signal drop out, that you must have a signal on screen at all times. That includes in between switching sources from one source to another. You need to be able to keep a signal going, keep that signal going. We developed this. The mission critical scaling allows the matrix switcher to switch seamlessly so you never have a dropout. And we'll get into exactly how we're doing that, why we're doing it, and why it's important for your customers in mission critical situations to have the kind of features that this switch is going to offer. So we'll look into it sooner, but we'll just take a quick look at the back. You have 8 inputs, 8 outputs. You have your control. You have audio input and output, and we have an internal power supply on this one, unlike some of our other matrix switchers where the power supply would be on the outside. So you can actually just rack this up, plug it in with a nice hefty 3-pin cable, and you'd be able to power the switch. So here we go. Let's get into this. It does have ears, of course, guys. So if you have noticed these feet, this is just so when I'm setting it down, I'm not messing it up. Those feet come off very easily with a screwdriver, and you can a lot of people will just put the rack mounted ears on, so you can just rack mount it right away. I'm pulling up my my screen here, guys, so I'm going to share my screen. All right, and it looks like you can see it now. So 3 to 10 seconds, that is the time it takes for most matrix switchers to switch sources. I mean, that includes AVPro Edge's matrix switchers. Many factors play into this. You have processing of the display or projector. I know a lot of integrators may know that if you've installed in schools, you've installed where they have overhead projectors, and they maybe didn't go the extra mile to get that really nice projector. It can go well beyond 10 seconds. When you switch from source to source, it has to do hot plug detect and read it again and tell all the metadata, what kind of signal it is and what it can handle. For some projectors, that can be almost up to a minute. Most new TVs that are going to be high end, it's going to be about 3 seconds. They have that processing. That is the matrix switcher switching the signal. Now, a matrix switcher should be able to just switch instantly, and it would be able to should play the exact thing, but it's actually the HDMI pipeline that takes all that time, right? I mean, we have the EDID that as soon as a connection comes in, the first thing it's going to do is send EDID information from the sync to the source to figure out what kind of signal that the source can even play. So we have to eliminate a lot of these things that happen beforehand in order to implement instant switching, something that's very hard at these high bandwidths, 4K 60, 18 gigabits per second. Well, when you have to handle the processing of the projector, the hot plug detect, the HDCP, the metadata, the EDID, these cause the variations in switching speeds. We are delivering a seamless switching matrix, just like the Cloud9. If you are familiar, we have a product called the Cloud9. It is, the bar and restaurant champion, where it has 9 inputs, unlimited outputs, and it does seamless switching. So you never have that break in a game. If you switch from one football game to another, boom, it's happens seamlessly. Well, there's a caveat with the Cloud9, is that it's a 1080p system. In order to do all these really cool things, we have to utilize the chipsets that we have available to us the best we can, and 1080p is where we are able to utilize all of those features. Well, this is where we step up into the future, guys. This is where AVPro Edge pushes the future one step further, and that is with a seamless switching 8x8 matrix switcher that doesn't just do 1080p. This matrix switcher is able to handle 18 gigabits per second, 4K 60. That is a large step. That's all of the resolutions under the HDMI 2.0 specification. So let's get into the actual training here. I'll just check out my questions tab real quick to make sure we don't have any questions here. Looks like everything's good. So this is the 8 input, 8 output seamless matrix switcher. It has 0-second switching speeds, and it is built for mission critical scenarios. So when you have to have a picture on screen, if your client is looking at the system and you change sources, and that client is going to be upset because there was 3 seconds or 5 seconds or 7 seconds in between that source switch, well, now you have a matrix switcher for that client so that they can see the 4K come right on their screen, and then still switch that instantly. So let's take a look here. Some of the, just a main overview of this, it has the mission critical scaling that happens on every single one of the inputs. And on the outputs, you set the outputs individually to exactly what kind of resolution that you would like it to be. This is a switch that will be configured right away to just display 4K. No matter what the signal comes in. If it comes in at 720, it's going to have that mission critical scaling. It's going to output that signal at 4K 60. Now you're able to change all of these outputs to endless amounts of options, and we'll kind of cover that when we go over the control part of the this switcher. But it does have 2-channel audio extraction. This is going to be a unbalanced signal off of a 3.5 millimeter jack. You can switch these around and lock these in however you want. It also has audio input, so if you do have a different audio source coming in, you're able to interject that into the system. This is a device that was built for commercial applications, was built for the professional audio video integrator, and that is the reason that it fits more in those scenarios where the professional audio video, the commercial audio video integrator will be in, compared to the residential commercial or the residential integrator, is because this strips all HDR metadata. So really cool. In order for us to take 4K 60 in and play 4K 60 and repeat it and switch it seamlessly, so there's never any problems with as many sources as you want. In order to do that, so we don't have to go through the EDID, so we don't have to go through the hot plug detect, so we don't have to do all those different things that cause the delays, we actually take out the metadata in this. So signal comes in, if it has Dolby Vision, if it has HDR, that metadata gets stripped, and we have just the bare 4K 18 gigabit per second signal that we'll be switching around. So this switch does not support HDR or Dolby Vision. We actually strip that metadata away and discard it. So we're doing that so we can allow for this seamless switching. Now, the installations where you have to have seamless switching are the kind of installations where you do not have to have Dolby Vision content. You're not going to be watching some, movie that you're right in the middle of this really cool movie that's playing 4K 60. You're watching, the new Gemini Man that's playing in 60 frames per second at 4K, and it's giving you 18 gigabits per second. Well, you're not going to switch that source to another movie and then have to switch that movie right back instantly, without any breaks, because that's not how film watching works. But if you are in a hospital, if you're in a data center, if you're in a command center, well, those switches need to happen instantly, and they need to happen when you command them to. Well, this switch is the switch that is going to be able to do that, because when you set this switch up, you get to decide exactly what kind of signals each one of these outputs is going to be outputting. That means you can configure it for your system. You could play, you have a 1080p projector out of this. Let's play a signal that's going to work best for 1080p. You have an old 720 monitor that is going to be secondary that you've had for a long time, but you don't want to get rid of. Well, we'll set this one to 720. If you have a computer monitor that's a VESA resolution that isn't normally seen in a lot of normal HDMI, no problem. This can scale it to the 768p that you needed it to. And then for this one, it's going to be a brand new 4K projector. So we're going to give that the full 4K 60. And you get to set that up as the integrator, which really makes you in control of the switch and the system. So we're going to just take a closer look here. You have all of your inputs, these, and your control for your matrix switcher, and then you have all of your outputs. So if I wanted to have what was playing on input 1 and I wanted to play it on through output 4, I could select 1 and then I could select 4, and that's how you would make your choice. Now this does have control right here, RS-232, IR, or Ethernet. That meaning that you would be able to connect it to a control system, send it signals, and then you don't have to be pushing buttons for switching. But it does help with setup, and it does help with troubleshooting. So that's why we do keep these on here. And then you have your menu that will be reading out on this screen right here. And these are kind of your options that can go through here. So you can kind of see your EDID, you can go through your next in your menu, you can recall a certain setting that you set, all different types of ways to control the menu system of your matrix switcher. And this isn't just the only way. We will actually look at the web GUI that you can access by typing in the IP address and then controlling it that way as well. So as you can see on the top, we have our audio input insertions. So this is a way that if you have just a video source, if you have some sort of security camera, has no audio, but you wanted to add an audio to that source or to that input, you're able to do that with these input ports right here. And on the output ports, this is where you would actually be able to extract 2-channel unbalanced audio and then route it to wherever you would need to for your distribution system. This switch does have a MSRP of $6,499, so very reasonably priced for the type of features and the pushing technology that this is actually taking you to. Some of the main features on this is 18 gigabit per second, 4K 60 RGB signals all the times. That's what it converts everything to is RGB, and then we scale it individually from there. And I'll talk about the scaling after this slide here. It does have seamless switching, HDCP 2.2 and lower support, full EDID management, built-in web GUI. You have 2-channel audio extraction, HDR metadata stripping, and then the mission critical scaling on each output. So what we're going to talk about is this mission critical scaling here before I get into this extremely fast switching speeds. And because they go hand in hand, the reason that we're able to do extremely fast switching speeds is because we are using mission critical scaling. So how mission critical scaling works is I have my sources input. And normally how a matrix switcher would work is when an output is called for a source, for an input, then that input sends a hot plug detect to the source. The source will send the EDID information. They'll do their little communication. The source will then pass the signal, and then we will get our image on screen. Well, in order to do seamlessly, we need to bypass all those things I just talked about. So what we do is when you first plug in your source, it will instantly take that signal in and it will start scaling it. It strips the metadata off and it has that signal running and running and running. Even if it's not connected to a display, it's still in the silicon. It feels like it's connected to a display because you have that running and we have it scaling. So we've discarded the metadata. Now we have that signal ready, it's going, it's playing, and that's for every single one of our inputs. And then on our outputs, we have all configured exactly what kind of resolutions we're going to have so that when we instantly switch to one of our outputs and pick one of our inputs, we already have that running. So then it's an instant switch of we seamlessly see the other source disappear, we see the new source up here, and then we have it being scaled to whatever signal that you chose. Because we have those sources constantly running, as soon as it needs to go to an output, the kind of silicon chips that we have inside here will immediately scale it to your presetting, not taking any time, not taking any delay, and then allowing you to do this. This gives us faster switching than a lot of our integrators' favorite switch from us is our NSFS. We took out the scaling for faster switching. Well, now we've gone even further. We've forced scaling, stripped metadata, and now we can give you seamless switching. You will never get a call from your client again asking why there is a black screen every time the input is changed. Truly, this scaling, this technology, this way of processing this video at all times, this is the key to making this product really sing and making it stand out compared to other matrix switchers that are on the market. I'll just check the questions quick. Tom had a question. Are the 3.5 millimeter audio ins and outs mono or stereo? These are going to be stereo. They are a 2-channel system, and so you would have, yep, exactly. These are not going to be mono. These are going to be stereo. Great question though, Tom. If you guys have any other questions, like Tom, send them my way. And Tom, great name. My name's Tom as well. All right, here we go. High bandwidth signaling. This is, of course, you're used to this. If you have been, installing AVPro Edge matrix switchers, if you're used to working with AVPro Edge matrix switchers, this slide may not be the biggest game changer for you. But you need to understand that this is really the reason that's why you are installing AVPro Edge. This is the reason that stands us apart from our other competitors out there. No matter what source you connect to this switcher, you can be sure that it will take the signal. It processes that signal and it will display it with ease. That includes 4K sources, modern laptops, tablets, phones, computers, security cameras, media players, digital signage machines. It doesn't matter what kind of signal comes in, because we use mission critical scaling. As soon as we get that source, whatever it was before, we're going to make it exactly what that output, whatever that display, that projector, that computer monitor, whatever signal that is going to be optimized for that device, we're going to turn that source into that device, into that signal, and we do that with that mission critical scaling. That allows us to mix 18 gigabit per second 4K, have the newest laptops and computers and graphic cards working along with any of the TVs or even legacy displays or projectors that you have in your installation. Tom had another question here. Is there any audio data that travels via HDMI, or the HDMI ins and outs strictly video only? Tom, these actually do full audio video HDMI. So if you are sending in, an HDMI signal and it has, stereo audio and it has 4K signaling, that's what's going to come out of the HDMI when you do it. So it is even though we're processing that signal, like I'm saying, we're processing that video, that audio is just going right along the lines. We're not messing with that. We're not changing that. We don't down mix. It's not changing, converting, or anything like that. But whatever, if you have stereo signals coming in, it'll send stereo right out, and you're still able to extract that stereo as well. So that's why, yes, it will have audio video. But if we look at just the back of this switch right here, so I would have, if I have my input one is a computer and I'm doing a presentation with background music, then I'm outputting it on output one, I would be able to see and hear the audio video out of this way. But if I wanted to, I could extract that audio away from the signal out of any one of these ports, whichever ones I selected it to be. If that makes sense, Tom. And if you have any more questions, I do appreciate you having these questions about the audio. When is it shipping, and when will there be a spec sheet? The spec sheet is being worked on right now. This is in our warehouse right now, Drew. So you should see a spec sheet by the end of today. We are launching this week, so we haven't shipped anything out yet, but we are starting to ship today. So if you put in your orders, talk with your sales rep, they'd be able to get one of these in your hands. Great question. Thank you, Drew. And then high bandwidth signaling. This is what we talked about before, you know, just the way that we're using the way that we can work with all of the products is that we're able to handle the highest bandwidth and then manipulate it to work with lower bandwidth products. This is what I've been talking about. I've mentioned it a few different times throughout here. This is the web software. So as you can see, you have a matrix switcher. This little matrixing chart, this should be kind of familiar for a lot of audio video pros. You know, you have your input, you have your output. Choose what input goes to which output, and you can select, you know, all your signals. If you wanted to have, you know, if you wanted to have like all of your signals on output 5, then you could go to input 2. You're doing anything that's on input 2 on output 5, and you just mark all of those that way. And with this, I want to take a little bit closer look at it here. So this is just your normal switcher, but then below it is actually where we get into this. And this software is actually, it comes with it. It is free. All you do is you visit a IP address in any browser. You could use this from a phone, a computer, a tablet, whatever, and you'd be able to, you know, set up your network settings, do your input and output settings, manage your EDID, and even do firmware updates. So this is kind of like a closer look at some of the information that you're getting here. So you have hex signals. These are codes that you'd be able to input yourself if you have a current API or a current control system that you would want to have the command signals going along with your signal. But then if you look here, we have output info. It's going to read, this is a UHD DVI signal. So this is probably going to be a computer system that is going to be connected to it, you know, based in a DVI format. It has all the VESA resolutions, and then you could click right here, and then you could select any of these resolutions. So these are, you can scroll down. This is just, we have 768 all the way to 2160 and everything in between. So really, you're able to find exactly what kind of signal you want. You would select this one. Okay, I got a brand new monitor. It's set for the best. I'm going to set it for 3840 by 2160, that true 4K signal. I'm going to output it at 60 frames per second. As you can see, we got almost all 60 frames per second, except for this 150 hertz for those international displays that really do sing at 50 hertz. Then we can have a refresh rate of 50. You can set this for each one of your inputs. So this is for output 1, right? So we have output 1 I'm setting, then I can set output 2, then 3, 4, all the way down the line. All of them can be different. And that is the way that you're able to, you know, manage this system so that it's set up custom for your installation by selecting exactly what type of output. So that means if I have on input 4 and I'm going to go out of output 5 and I managed it so it is a 1360 by 768 at 60 hertz, that's the signal is going to be optimized for the display or the monitor that's connected to it. Well, it doesn't matter what is coming in on input 5. It doesn't matter if it is a 720 signal from some DVD player, or it's a digital signage machine from a few years ago that's 1080p, or it's a brand new computer that's doing 4K 60. It will scale it to do the exact signal you want. So it will only play 1366 by 768. That is how you as an integrator are going to control these systems with this matrix. Well, I mean, I shouldn't have gone all the way in it. See, I was going to tell you about it in this next slide. Sorry about that, guys. So basically what I just said was here, this is where you're going to change that information. This is going to be just your basic setup. You have 8 sources connected. You have 8 displays in 8 different zones. And now you can downscale some to 1080p. You can downscale to 1080p. You can take your 1080p sources and upscale to 4K. You can have different images on each one, or you could have the same image on each one, all switching seamlessly, which is the part that makes it really the differentiator. So how do we, as a, you know, talk to our integrators about this matrix switcher? How do we talk to our clients about putting this type of matrix switcher into our system? How can we help them? Well, one of the things that you can really talk about this matrix switcher, which is you always have a picture on the screen. When you always have a picture on the screen, no matter what, it's scaled perfectly. That means if anybody's passing by and you have to switch sources from a menu system to the special of the day to a security camera, that happens without any seams. Nobody is feeling like they have bought this really great system that doesn't work properly. And are you afraid of obsolete tech? Like I said at the beginning of this, AVPro Edge, we push technology forward. That is how we have been able to stay relevant. That's how we get excited, is when we get to bring something to market that nobody else is doing, that we are developing, that our engineers are having these breakthroughs daily. And this is one of those products with an 18 gigabit per second support now, a potential for 24 gigabits per second, depending on how all HDMI 2.1 specifications work out. We are at the forefront of audio video technology. So when you install one of these products, this type of matrix switch in your system, you know that you're getting a signal or a system that's going to really work. And then mission critical installations. I've said it 100 times already on this, but security systems, Department of Transportation centers, hospitals, those are just a few things that came to mind when I was putting this together, but there's hundreds of other places where if a signal drops off and you're not seeing what you need to on screen, that is a problem. There are plenty of installations that is the case. This is the switcher that you put in those installations. Has a 10-year warranty like all of our products. If you're not familiar, I shouldn't just assume that like all of our products, you know that. AVPro Edge, we deliver a no BS 10-year advanced replacement warranty. You give us a call. Our tech support team's like the best around. They will work with you to get it going, and more than likely, that's exactly what's going to happen. If you have a problem, it may be just a little trick or something that we can teach you in order to get that system up and moving right away. But if there is really a problem with one of our products ever, there's no questions asked. You send it back, we get you a new one immediately. It's as simple as that. And if we take your word for it, we don't have to receive it and get it back, and then your client's going with 4 or 5 days without having a switcher in their system. No, that's not how we do it. We make sure that our integrators are treated right and treated right the first time. And we're able to offer this because we have such a small failure rate that when you do install AVPro Edge products, they're going to work for you. So where do these fit? Mission critical installations, command centers, hospitals, data centers, live presentations, where you have those live cameras that you're going to be switching. This is a great switcher for that. And then anytime it's critical to never have a blank screen. This is what you're going to get with your switch. You're going to get a little remote. A lot of integrators, may use this for setup and throw it away, but you could give it to an end user or a client if they needed to use it. You have your grounding cable, your IR head. You have some screws for your rack mounts. You have your little RS-232 adapter, and then you have your power cable. Compatible products. All our 444 extenders are compatible with these. If you hook up our 444 extenders, that means those are capable of 18 gigabits per second. Excuse me. And that means that they do not slow down. So if you have this matrix switcher with any of our 444 extenders, that just adds to your seamless installation. You could have an extender kit on each one of the outputs, and you would still have seamless switching in between all of your sources. That's just making this switch so cool, isn't it, guys? All right. You can visit our website right here. If you want to visit more, that's avprotech.com. You can just go to products. We'll click there. If you have any questions that I didn't answer on this, you can contact me directly, tom@avproglobal.com. If you have a regional sales manager or a sales rep, you can just contact them. They'd be able to help you as well. If not, just give us a call, 605-274-6055. We have plenty of people standing by, and they all are excited to talk to you about this product. Let's just take a look at the website really quick. I had, as I think it was Drew asked earlier, about the cut sheets. This is kind of like when you would normally see it, is under our resources here. Right now, we do just have whoops, I clicked my mail. Sorry about that, guys. right now we do just have the high quality photos, but all of the other applications, are manual, the cut sheet, all of that stuff will be filling this in over the next few days. And I do apologize with the delay. This is a matrix switcher that is so different from our other matrix switchers. It's taking a lot longer to make sure that when we release this information that it's going to be 100% accurate and the kind of information that you want. But you still are able to show anybody here. You can see the applications, you can see the diagram, you can get some of the features, and then the gallery of exactly what the matrix switcher works with. We also have all of our products are always going to be available under the new products, so you can always go to new products right here, and then you can kind of check out all of the new products that we've been putting out lately. We have another training tomorrow for a wall plate. I'm going to show you guys this wall plate here that we're doing for tomorrow, and I hope if you haven't enrolled in this yet, make sure that you do enroll. This is going to be a big product launch for us. We are currently had exclusive contract, our exclusive build for CCS, where this product that we'll be teaching tomorrow has already been installed in over 300 classrooms in Arizona. It's working rock solid. It's truly the classroom solution for interactive display. So you're not going to want to miss that. Make sure you sign up at avproedge.com. You can check out all our all our sessions, or you can look at the newsletter, or just talk to our regional sales manager. They can make sure that we get you guys training links. If you guys have any other questions, make sure you let me know. But other than that, I do appreciate you tuning in for our matrix switcher presentation today. I think it turned out really well. This is a really cool switch. It's waiting for you guys to order it, to play with it, to deliver mission critical switching to your clients, to deliver this extremely optimized scaling system and our mission critical scaling to do instant switching for your clients with this seamless switching matrix switcher. So thank you very much, and I'll see you guys tomorrow on our KVM training. Thank you.